I'm sorry guys, the ring light that I literally just bought, there's something wrong with it. It won't stay on longer than a couple of minutes, so I'm gonna have to get that fixed. Scoot you guys closer. Hey there, Morbid Maniacs. It's time for another spooky video. And for tonight's spooky video, I'm gonna be talking all about the legend of the Melonheads. I know, that's a very funny name. When I first heard about it, I laughed. I actually used to have a friend that his cousin or something couldn't pronounce my name right because he was little, or every time he would say my name it would sound like he's calling me Melonhead, so that's kind of what I thought of. The legend of the Melonheads resides in the states of Ohio, Michigan, and Connecticut. However, the story originated in Michigan. The story is said to vary according to which legend you're telling it from, but it mostly depicts small humanoid creatures with large, bulbous, bald heads, deformed arms and legs, razor-sharp teeth, and luminous red eyes. Before I go any further with this video, I would just like to leave a little disclaimer in here and say that I'm in no way, shape, or form making fun of anyone who, you know, was born with some kind of birth defect or disability, something that they can't help. I just thought that this story was really creepy, and I just wanted to throw that out there because I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way. These creatures were said to be at one time human. There is known to be a hospital in the area of Saugatuck, Michigan. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm probably not. This hospital was said to have treated patients or children with waterhead syndrome. That's what I'm going to call it because I can't pronounce the actual name for it. Now, this hospital was accused of emotionally and physically abusing the children, and the hospital was forced to close. These children were said to have nowhere else to go, and so they were released. Now, another theory in the Michigan legend of the Melonheads was that they also resided in a mansion known as the Felt Mansion, which was in Felt, Michigan, where they eventually took refuge in hidden caves under the mansion, which were left over from an abandoned zoo. Located in Holland, Michigan, the Felt Mansion was built by Dorr Felt in 1928. He built this mansion as a summer home for his wife. The mansion was transformed into a school and then a chapel until it was purchased by the state in 1977. The state used this mansion as a police post and eventually converted it into a prison. The state of Michigan sold the mansion to Laketown Township in 1995 for $1 million. The property is listed in the National Register of Historic Places. The story goes that the mansion served as an insane asylum where the Melonheads had resided. However, the Allegan County Historical Society says that no asylum ever existed. And some believe that the story of the Felt Mansion was somehow confused with the Junction Asylum, which was nearby. In one version of the story, the Melonheads wanted to seek revenge on the doctor who abused them. So they came up with a plan to escape and kill him. It was said that after killing the doctor, the children had no place to put his body, and so they dismembered him and strung his remains around the mansion and hid them inside of it. Local teenagers still claim to encounter the Melonheads to this day. The ones who were brave enough to break into the Felt Mansion have claimed to have seen the ghosts of the children. And one had even claimed to see the murder of the doctor in a shadow from the light in an open door. And Laketown Township manager Al Meshkin had said that he had heard the tales as a teenager, calling them the Wobbleheads. Visitors and late-night explorers have claimed to have seen the curtains moving on their own in the old vacant building. They would also claim to hear strange noises, heavy breathing, and footsteps. Some have even claimed to have seen shadow figures darting through the darkness in the woods. And it's been claimed that if you drive to this area where the Felt Mansion is, and you turn your car headlights on and off, that you may catch a glimpse of the Melonheads for yourself. In Ohio, they are said to be located in the Cleveland area of Kirtland. According to the legend, the Melonheads were under care of a doctor known as Dr. Crow. Dr. Crow was said to have experimented on these children, injecting them with mysterious fluids, which caused them to have these large, bald, bulbous heads and malformed bodies. And it was believed that some of these children were also suffering from the waterhead syndrome, and Dr. Crow had injected more fluids into their brains. It was said that the children eventually killed Dr. Crow, eating him and then scattering his bones around the forest. They also burned down the orphanage and then resided in the nearby woods. Now, I also heard one version of the story which stated that Dr. Crow was actually very nice and loving to them and took them in as his own, and he did all that he could to kind of protect them from any like harsh comments and stuff made from others. And I can't remember exactly what this part in the story said, but I believe it went on to say that the children somehow got out and burned down the hospital with Dr. Crow inside of it, and then they were released into the woods. They are said to be seen along Wisner Road in Kirtland and in Chardon Township. It is said that if you stand still long enough in the woods, that you will hear the sound of little feet running. They are known to be the cause of missing pets, kidnappings, anyone who has had a disappearance in the area, and missing livestock, which there was a claim that all of these pets and kidnappings that take place, they usually feed off of them. They are said to attack and consume whoever ventures into their territory. Now, in Connecticut, there are several different variations and stories of the Melonhead legend, all taking place in Haven, New Haven, and the Fairfield counties. According to the legend, Fairfield was the location of an insane asylum which burnt down in 1960. This resulted in the deaths of every single staff member and patient, leaving 10 and 20 of these patients unaccounted for. It was said that those patients, which they could not find any answers for, had escaped into the nearby woods. Their appearance is said to be caused by cannibalism and inbreeding, which caused them to develop the waterhead syndrome. According to the second version of the story, the Melonheads were descendants from the colonial era family from Shelton, Trumbull, who were supposedly banished into the woods after claims of witchcraft. Now, another disclaimer. I'm just saying that a lot of these stories and the media and stuff, this is my personal opinion, so take it as you will. I feel like a lot of them try to perceive witchcraft as something that's bad and negative, and it really just shows that we've come nowhere since the Salem witch trials. A lot of those people were literally killed for no reason. Like, they were innocent people and they were killed, and I feel like we should start looking at the fact that these evil people killed innocent people and we're claiming them to be bad. To me, that's evil. I don't see anything wrong with witchcraft. I myself am a practicing witch. I'm a baby witch. And I just wanted to throw that out there. Not all witches are bad, okay? And you know what? Even if you do use your magic for bad, that's your choice. You know, you do you. It does not mean that you are a bad person. In this version of the story, they decided to reside in the woods and turn to inbreeding, which then caused their appearance. Melonheads are said to prey upon anyone who dares venture off into their territory, biting or consuming anyone who enters into their path. All of these Melonhead legends seem to take place on these long, dark dirt roads, which are surrounded by woods. And it is said that Melonheads tend to stay in wooded areas. There is one road in particular in Connecticut where the Melonheads are said to reside, and this road is known as Dracula Drive. Regardless of where you're hearing the story or what version you hear, the legend of the Melonheads is a very eerie one indeed. And if you happen to stumble down one of these roads yourself, you may just encounter them. So there was the many different legends of the Melonheads. What do you guys think? To me, it kind of reminds me of like the crybaby bridges, because there's like one in almost every state. And to be honest, these aren't that far from me. I don't know if they're true or if they're just based on, you know, some silly story that someone made up, but it's still creepy nonetheless. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a big old thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you have not already and become Morbid Maniac. Be sure to hit that bell notification, that way you get notified every single time I upload a new video. And if you were not aware already, I now have an OnlyFans account where I will be posting all of my sexier content. So if you are interested in that, the link is always in the description box below, so you can go check that out. And I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video.